welcome. My name is Sen Tain. I'm the training coordinator for Lost Dogs Home. My background is I am a veterinary nurse of nearly 10 years. So I've had my fair share of cats. I've also fostered as well. Throughout my life, my mum has always been a huge animal advocate, so we've always, had experience with fostering animals and helping them out. So 20 odd years of experience of that as well, and watching it happen. Today's presentation is the welcome party, so just bringing home that foster cat. And again, whether you're a novice or you're a advanced expert in fostering, there's always some fun things to learn and just things to consider when we are bringing home a lovely kitty cat. One of the things that we're trying to create when we are bringing a cat home is we don't only want them to have a place to live, but we want them to thrive in the environment that we bring them into. So that can look like creating a home environment that reduces fear, anxiety, and stress for our cats. We need to catify our home, and we can catify our home in a way that's not crazy cat lady-esque. We can make it relative to our own style. We want to encourage desirable behaviour, but we also want to look at a way to positively direct undesirable behaviour as well. Socialisation period of kittens is quite important, and also just the learning styles of cats as well and how they learn throughout their life. We want to look at building their confidence too, and that's with understanding cat behaviour. With that, we always want to reduce stress associated, particularly when we're travelling or coming back to the vet, or even coming back here. Depending on what cat or kitten scenario that we have, sometimes they have to come in for repeated vet visits, so that travelling and the vet visiting can be quite a stressful situation for them. So, cats are relatively simple creatures. They need three things to meet their basic needs. Those basic needs are providing safety, giving them activity, and activity with novelty as well. So, safety looks like creating a home base. What that home base might be, something like this, in our foster situation. If we have the opportunity to open our home up to the cats as well, fantastic. For cats and fostering cats in particular, when we are opening up our home to them, creating a sort of small home base where they can, hide and seek sort of safety is really important. What that safety might look like is actually using their cat carrier as well, a nice clean cat carrier, having a blanket within that cat carrier that they can obviously have their scent on. That's quite comforting for them. Sometimes it can even look like a proper cat bed. Again, somewhere to seek safety, hide. Cats love to hide. Not only are they predators, they are also prey as well, naturally. So instinctively, they want to run and hide when times get a little bit stressful. We can also look at things of safety like height. My own cat, he loves, jumping up high somewhere. I live in an apartment, very small apartment too. So sometimes my space abilities is quite hard. I don't necessarily have the space for a big 20-story cat tower thing. But I do have the space on a windowsill that I can plug one of those windowsill shelf. Thank you so much. A shelf. So again, that's another safety thing and creating that home base for him. Food and water resources as well. We want to have them in a safe, quiet space. So maybe not having them out in sort of high foot traffic areas. Can we separate it even as well from where they have their home? Can be, of course, hard in these little cat dome situations, particularly if you've got ringers or giardia kittens. It can be hard, but it's just something to consider, having a quiet area for them particularly. Myself, I like to elevate my cat's food and water resource area, again, just to protect them. Again, it's like a safety thing for them. Cats are very particular creatures too. Their food bowls and water bowls, how they like them, can be very preferable. Cats tend to like shallower food bowls. Why? They like it because instinctively as well because they are prey. When they put their head into a deep bowl, they can't see anything. The whiskers touch everything as well. It can just be a bit to them. So considering changing to a more shallow bowl as well. Water, your cat might not mind sort of stagnant water bowls. Some of them love water fountains as well. So again, it might depend on the cat. Litter boxes, so I think a lot of us know this, try not to have them next to their food and water bowl. Obviously we don't like to eat where we poop. So having that litter box sort of away from that food and water situation, again, it can be quite hard when we are dealing with this. We can make some adjustments, so, you know, having the food and water closer to the bed in this, and turning the bed hidey hole away from the toilet as well. In my own home, I have my cat litter, you know, again, separated. I've got it in the bathroom. If you've got the laundry, again, you can pop it in the laundry. When we're using litter boxes, the litter can also make a difference as well. Again, cats are so particular. Some love crystal litter, some love that rolly paper litter, some prefer the clumping litter. So understanding like why your cat, which sort of material your cat likes will also create a thriving environment for them. Size of the litter tray matters too. Generally, they want to have a litter tray that's, you know, just as big as their nose to their tail. So it's quite a long litter tray. Activity and novelty. So when we're looking at activity and novelty, cats love climbing structures. Again, it's what they do to run away and protect themselves. It's also a way that they can play. I know my cat, when he gets a little bit excited and aroused, he loves to like climb up stuff and like scratch at the leg of my couch, thankfully for me. So having, you know, tall structures and scratching posts to let them, you know, release that sort of energy as well. Cats also use scratching posts or like to scratch to remove dead nails, of course. They release their pheromones onto there as well to be like, hi, I'm here. And again, that sort of play factor as well. They use it during playtime to sort of release that energy onto something. Social play, so setting aside playtime as well for not only your kittens, but even your adult cats. So it's trying to figure out what your cat's style is. Playtime can be as little as 5 minutes, 2-3 times a day. Just that 5 minutes is, you know, crucial for their enrichment and well-being. You know, you can spend 5 minutes on the couch, Friday Arvo, watching RuPaul's Drag Race, playing with the cat, you know. So that little time while you're doing like certain activities can mean a lot to them, and it's also a bonding experience between you and the cat and the kittens. So figuring out what they like, you know, they might love a cardboard box. I know my cat does, he loves a cardboard box. We have, you know, these little toys like that. My cat also loves laser pointers, unfortunately. We also have like these sort of toys like this, feathers, stuff like that. I always sort of try to encourage people not to go for those ball toys that are wrapped up in twine, just because as a vet nurse of 10 years, I've just seen so many gut surgeries from those particular toys, because they tend to unravel them. They're like spaghetti, and then it gets caught in the gut. So lay away from the twine if you can. Other ways that we can look at enriching our cats is through sensory things as well. Cats and their senses, you know, they're super heightened. So we can look at sort of smells like catnip, like this guy here. He's got his catnip. Yeah. Another sort of sensory thing is Silvervine. Silvervine is a natural product too. And again, cats sniff that. When they sniff these smells, basically it elicits a emotional response within them. And yeah, you see cats on catnip, they go like, whoa. It's quite a funny thing to see. And yeah, catnip and Silvervine are both natural products. So we can be safe that we know when they do eat it or anything like that, everything's going to be okay. We can also look at music. Unfortunately, cats don't love, rock and roll and Cardi B and stuff like that. We want to look at playing them softer sort of music. Again, that's quite a nice thing for them to experience. So we can even set aside time during their day. Cats tend to sleep in the sort of early arvo hours. So, if you are at home, we can look at setting some time aside, playing some Beethoven and Synchrosphere, like orchestra stuff, and for like 10 minutes. In the shelter, we tend to play nice soothing music while we're cleaning as well, just to sort of, again, have a sort of reduce their stress and anxiety when we are cleaning them, because of course that can be quite an environment. So this is, to me, a sort of ideal home that we can make for our cats. This is a thriving environment. So we have our happy friend down here given a nice big stretch on the ground. I have a Fallaway diffuser here. If you know what Fallaway is, it's a pheromone spray. Comes in a diffuser form or even sprays like that. We'll chat about pheromones further on. We've got a climbing structure here of some hidey holes so he can, jump up, seek height. He's also got scratching posts on him as well. He's got his carrier here as well that he can go run and hide. I always recommend having your carrier, out and available so they can also have a positive association with that carrier, particularly when they are sort of having regular vet visits. Just something that they can become used to and have their scent on. He's got quite a few toys to play with, so he's got options to what he wants to play with. He's got some catnip here as well, or even we can use cat grass too. I've got a heightened little food and water thing. I like to separate my food and water bowls as well. Cats tend to not really love these bowls, but of course, resources can be limited from what shelter can provide you. So if you do have the opportunity to, buy your own food and water bowls for any foster cats, separating them makes a big difference. We've got a little outside window too. Cats love to see the outdoor world. Obviously from safety inside. Don't let our cats out. Having somewhere like this as well can also be quite stressful. Sometimes cats actually don't want to see the outside world, so just keep that in mind. But the access is there. And then off to the side in our bathroom, we have our litter tray separate from these sort of living quarters, fun playtime area as well. The socialization period. So each cat, just like us, is unique. They have unique personalities. Personality is a product of many factors. It's from genetics, early learning, so those first few weeks of life, and also from their ongoing life experiences. So genetics is a huge part of what sort of, makes them them. So it begins with, the DNA. What are their physical characteristics? Are they, orange, tawny, black, pink, yellow, stuff like that? It also creates their, emotional resilience, their temperaments and other behaviours as well. So genetic plays a huge part in how your cats or kittens just generally are. Socialisation period for cats is 2 to 7 weeks of age. So that's the biggest sort of foundation period for them. So where they're learning a lot of things. This is also the period where you're able to create that comfort zone. Then you're able to also, create what resilience they have, and do they feel confident enough to tackle the world and stuff like that. So this period is quite important because it sets them up to how they respond to things later on in life. It can also extend to 14 weeks of age as well. So even when we do have our kittens, still learning behaviours up until 14 weeks of age. You can teach a new dog An old dog, new tricks. So even with life, they're always learning things. They're always, gaining how their response is to certain things. But we can always change that response as well through positive associations. So positive exposure to handling, grooming, traveling, and other creatures as well not only ends at that sort of 7-week mark, it goes on for life. So 7 weeks is quite important, again, just as that sort of foundation building block to how they respond to things later on, but they're always learning. That early learning thing, like I said as well, with the foundation of their confidence and everything as well, good input, bad input, no input as well, sets them up for life. So how cats learn? Cats are learning all the time, just like us, just like dogs, we're always learning. We learn best in environments that we feel safe, of course. We want to reinforce desired behavior through positive association with things. So that positive association can be playtime, it can be food, it can be through petting and stuff like that as well. We can redirect unpleasant behaviors as well, undesired behaviors, in a nice way. So again, with as an example, our scratching post situation, my cat loves to scratch my beautiful brown leather couch, of course. And with that, why does he like to scratch my brown leather couch? He's never scratched any of my other couches until I got a beautiful brown leather one. And now he's ruined it. Bless him. So why does he like it? Is it a texture thing? Is it a structure thing? Does he, like scratching the arm of the chair at the top, or does he like scratching the leg of it upwards? So we can always direct that desired behavior by, understanding why it is that they do that. So if it's a feel thing, can I buy him a leather good and be that sort of thing that he touches and not my couch? We can also as well use pheromones. So pheromones as well, he might be just marking his territory. So we can spray our Fallaway on there and be like, mate, you've already marked my couch. Can you see? Yeah. But the pheromones as well is like a way that they use to mark stuff. So if we spray artificial pheromones, it's sort of a reaction that they go, I've been here, I've done that, move somewhere else. And again, having that structure that's similar to, what you don't want them scratching can also be a redirection. Positive association through treats as well. So, you can move them along nicely, and you can take them to this other structure, and again you can spray our pheromone spray, you can give them treats and stuff like that too. One thing people do also have an issue with, particularly with kittens, is when they start to use your hands as toys. With that, it's basically just removing yourself, no different to children, when they're doing something you don't like, when they're doing it to you, you sort of step back and you're like, time out, mate. And you do that with your kittens as well. So if they're going to, play and bite with your hand, you can remove your hand from the situation, of course, because you want them to know that hands are hands, not playthings. We can introduce our toy instead at that point. So redirecting that behavior by, okay, what you're doing now is not appropriate for this, but we can use our fluffy little toy here to do that instead. And it's just the repetitive behavior is that, because they're not going to learn from maybe one experience, but sort of repetitive introduction of that, again, can change that emotional response. Allow cats to explore, so do not force them. So even when you have a new thing in the environment, say I brought this orange tower today for my cat, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to be like, hey Carlo, look at that. You want to leave it in the environment, and you want your cat to explore and discover it themselves. Again, you can elicit them to come over, influence them to come over by being like, I have your favorite cat treats here. Look at that. Wow. Cat treats are around this tower here. And that's not forcing him either. That's allowing him to come over. So he has that choice. Animals Cats, people, they love choice. We need choice. When we are forced to do things, we hate it. We hate being forced to do things. Same things with cats. And when we are forcing them as well, because they don't necessarily understand why we're doing it, they see it as a threat. So when we bring Carlo over and get him to play with the toy and you start going like that, he's going, what the hell are you doing? This is really weird. Just makes him not want to play with it. So allowing him to explore it. When we have our not so confident cats as well, again, not trying to force too much onto them, allow them choice, so we can encourage them to come to yourself rather than going to them, because you're still trying to build that relationship. You're trying to build that, trust between them. And of course, we all probably know this too. We don't yell at our cats for doing bad things. We might, raise our voice and be like, oh my God, what are you doing to my brown leather couch? You might do that, but we're not, yelling at them, screaming at them. We don't spank them. We don't squirt water at them or throw stuff at them either. No one learns through negative associations. No one learns through that, especially cats. That also, what that is doing is breaking down that trust with you. They're not feeling safe and confident with you, so they are likely to continue doing undesired behaviours as well, or do other undesired behaviours. And what we might see with other undesired behaviours is toileting in the house undesirably, such as spraying things. So redirecting, again, I just went through this just before. So, reinforcing that toys, not hands. Never use your hands or your feet as a sort of toy. We can reinforce them by, ignoring them, putting something in place instead of your hand or your feet. A stressed or anxious cat might also be likely to display biting or scratching behaviours. Again, when that happens, remove yourself away. We can actually, give those sort of undesirable reactions. We can actually give positive associations to it. It's a little of a bit of a learning, training behaviour. So the reason why they are acting out in those sort of aggressive manners is because they don't feel safe. So what we do instead is we provide them a positive things, so like treats, and it lets them know that that thing that you don't like is actually okay. We're not that scary. What I'm doing isn't scary. You can trust me. I give you food, and when I give you food, I'm not trying to do anything with you still. I'm just letting you be yourself, but we're all good. Make sure that you have also provided enough resources for your cat and every cat as well. Sometimes they can act out because there's not enough resources, and they might even feel a little bit, lonely as well. Particularly when we are introducing our cats into our home, when we already have, a cat in our home. Our own personal cat might not love this new person in their hood. So making sure that enough resources are there. Cats in nature, they tend to be quite, social group creatures when there are resources aplenty. However, when resources are scarce, they are very independent. So it's just things like that as well. And pheromones. I love pheromones. I've got Falloway in my own house. My cat's a pretty chill cat, but I love always just sort of spraying pheromones in general. And yeah, I used it when I brought his shelf, because for a good 2 weeks, he did not use that shelf. And I was like, oh my God, I just spent $50 on this shelf. And then he used it eventually because I allowed him to explore it. I used my Falloway. I threw some treats up there, and I was just like, look at that. Work. Cool. So I got a little video on body language as well. This is from Fear Free Happy Homes. This is on cat body language. It's about a 4-minute video, and it's a great video as well. Work.
let you in on a secret. We cats say a lot, just by using our ears, tail, eyes, and body posture. That's why I want you to be one of those people who can communicate with animals by reading our body movement and facial expressions. When I'm just chilling, but not sleeping, I put on my neutral and relaxed pose. My ears are forward but relaxed, and maybe just slightly to the side. They aren't perked forward or turned back. My tail is curved loosely towards my body, and it's not twitching. If you look closely, you might be able to see an almond-shaped black center in my eye. My mouth is closed, and my whiskers aren't perked forward or pulled back. Here's what I look like when I'm catching some Z's. I curl up in a ball. All the muscles in my face and body are relaxed. Some cats relax in some strange ways. Just like you, we don't like to be startled when we're sleeping. When you've just come home and I am happy to see you, I look something like this, relaxed but interested. When something piques my interest, I shift my weight forward a bit and lower my body. I might be ready to pounce on something, or preparing myself to get the heck out of there. I perk my ears and whiskers forward and stare at what has my attention. Perhaps you just pulled out a new wand toy for me to chase. I might have my tail up and moving it gently, or resting on the ground and ticking slightly. Or, if I'm really excited by something, I might thrash my tail back and forth and my pupils might expand some. Okay, here's how I might look when nervous or afraid. Just like with excitement, there are different ways we act depending largely upon how upset we are. 4 easy categories to remember are the 4 F's: fret or fidget, freeze, flight, and fight. It's no fun to be scared, especially when the people around us don't realize we're nervous about something. If you see these signs, take a look around and see if you can figure out what is concerning us. When we're fretting or fidgeting, we first avoid direct eye contact by ignoring you or turning our head away. If you'd like to interact with us, it's best to play hard to get and avoid eye contact with us. If I'm nervous, my whiskers go back slightly, closer to my cheeks, and my tail is closer to my body. If I'm irritated, I might flick the tip of my tail and my ears will go to the side slightly. My pupils may get larger and my eyes may look darker. I might even tuck down and turn to look at you as I pull my ears further to the side, tuck my tail closer. I begin to breathe harder, and if you watch my chest, you'll see it moving faster. If you see me completely freeze, I have become so frightened that I'm quite literally scared stiff. My pupils are large and I flatten my whole body down, so my feet are tucked under me and my tail's likely curled up so tight I'm hugging myself with it. Pay attention, because I can move through these stages pretty quickly. Flight takes place when I try to escape the situation. I might poof up my tail to make it look bigger. My ears are out to the side, and I try to back away while keeping my eyes on whatever is threatening me. If my previous attempts at communication haven't been received, I might speak even louder and escalate to a bigger shout. This is when people often label us as a bad cat, but we're just trying to tell you that we're afraid. At the fight stage, we might display defensive aggression. My ears, tail, and body are lowered. I lean away, ready to run if given a chance. I will probably hiss and show my teeth and try to strike out with a paw. Sometimes cats go unheard for so long that they learn offensive aggression. I lean forward. My ears and whiskers are forward, or may tuck back slightly as I make my move. Meanwhile, my tail will drop down and slightly out in the back. I might wag it or flick it some. This isn't a sign that I'm happy. I'll raise my back end higher by standing on my tiptoes as I approach. Please hear us before we get to this point. You now know what we look like when we are relaxed, happy, excited, and alert, as well as how we might communicate fear through fret or fidget, freeze, flight, or fight. When you know what to look for, you'll realize just how much we say to people on a daily basis. You'll be able to talk back to us in a way we understand and give us help when we need it.
So it's that little video there on body language, and body language is so important, particularly again when we are having, new cats in our homes. We obviously don't really know these cats too well, and when like I said in the video, we tend to label these guys as sort of mean or aggressive, bad cat. When it comes to that end stage of them hissing, swiping, biting you even, they have likely displayed other signs of discomfort, stress, anxiety, and fear. We might just not have noticed it because they just have these little cues and like changes in body language that they express when they are, trying to show us that they're not happy. So again, the way the eyes are positioned, their pupils, how their ears sit, how their whiskers move, they're all very relevant in ways of showing us how they're feeling. So recognizing those little signs first before them ending up in this sort of highly stressed state where they act out of aggressively. That also allows you as well in your home when you are sort of trying to introduce them to things, do things with them, particularly with playing and petting, building their confidence. As well, you're able to recognize, okay, our friend has had enough for this time being because he's, carrying away, he's not looking at me, he wants not a bar of me, let's create that distance. And instead, let's, build positive association with myself. So does he want to play? Does he want to eat? So looking for highly desirable treats during those moments as well. And if they show that they're not interested in those treats particularly, distance yourself again because they're likely not going to want to eat them at that point or any stage further because they are so stressed. When we are introducing pets, whether dog or cat, to our new foster cat, slow and easy is always the way to go. When we're introducing them, every cat is different. My cat loves cats. He loves big cats, little cats. He just loves cats in general. But I always introduce them slowly. So we can look at creating a barrier, such as like this. This is a barrier for them. They're able to smell each other before they perhaps even see each other. Then we can slowly let them see one another at a distance even as well. In our homes, we might have the door closed off, but they're probably still able to smell each other. We can even, have a blanket. So my foster kitty, I can pass the blanket he's been sitting on to my cat Carlo. I can pass Carlo's smelly things onto this cat so that they're able to get to know each other, like little pen pal situations, basically. And then that allows them to become aware of each other through scent. We can then again open up eventually to them being able to see each other. We can do it from a distance, some sort of barrier within the way as well. So that if it does escalate, they're not going to belt each other and cause any harm. With anything as well, once we introduce them fully, we want to make sure that there's always an escape plan. Allow them to have choice. Is there space that they can run and hide so that they can jump up again and run and hide? So always have an escape plan in place for the cats. Either one of them, they can both become very overwhelmed and want to get away. And always spread the love. Sometimes our own cats might start acting out because they feel like they're not having all the attention anymore. I think it's sort of like children again as well, when like you have a newborn in the house and the toddler's like, I hate this newborn because I'm not getting the attention anymore. So it's sort of like that as well. So spread the love. Don't forget about your own cat. See how you can, introduce, collaboration with them both, playing with them both together. Again, they can form that bond. That cat also learns how to deal with other cats and stuff like that as well. Creating a more harmonious household, we can also use pheromones again. Falloway has different sort of pheromones on the market. So I have one called Falloway Harmony or Best Friends, something like that. And basically that's for multi-cat households. Again, it's releases different sort of artificial pheromones for large group homes. Vet visits and travel. So of course, when these guys join up as foster carers, depending on which animal you're paired with, sometimes they might have to have vet visits, particularly our ringworm guys or even our Giardia ones. They might have to come back for some vet visits, or even if you have an orthopedic case. So always adhering to those veterinary checkups. They're quite important just so that we can monitor the cats appropriately. And of course as well, if you think that your foster cat needs to come sooner, more than fine. We'd rather see them than not see them. So keeping up as well with vaccinations, flea treatments, all that preventative stuff. Generally as well, when you guys collect a cat, you get a plan. And within that plan, it might state that, you know, they're due for a vaccine in 1 week time, perhaps. We try and pair them up so when they're meant to come back to give those vaccines to make life easier for you. But depending if you have them a long time, you might just have to make that sacrifice and come in. And with that, vet visits can be super stressful, as we all know. Sometimes just finding your cat and trying to stuff them in the carrier is like the most dramatic thing in the world. Again, 10 years as a vet nurse, I've had many calls from owners being like, I can't come in because my cat will not get in this carrier. He's actually ran out of the home and he has gone off somewhere because he's that frightened to come in. So like I said before, having that carrier out there preemptively, you know, it could be a couple days before, it's that introduction to that positive association. It's not that bad. In vet visits as well, cats will tend to use the carrier as somewhere to hide too, which is a good thing. It allows them, again, choice to run away somewhere when the vet visit becomes a bit too much. We can avoid subjecting them to a roller coaster ride too, of chaos. So making sure they're strapped in nicely, they're not going to tumble around, you know, you don't have your volume on 25, Nicki Minaj in the car, you know. Having something a little bit lower. When I travel with my pets in the car, I have my music on very low, or I'll even wear headphones as well, just so I can listen to my music at my own leisure. Pheromones, again, pheromoning everything, can pheromone your car too. When it comes to the travel and also the visit when they're there, covering them up is quite important too. We can Falloway pheromone that cover up as well, just to make it nice and smelly. When they come into Frank Samway's clinic, if you have an appointment with Frank Samway's, the receptionist at the front actually have a blankets doused in Falloway for your cat too, again, to make that visit a lot more comfortable for them. So the less that they see or actually can be seen as well is quite important. It's better for them, even when you come into a clinic situation and you're asked to sit in the waiting area, try to sit away from the dogs, of course, as well, because they don't want to smell them. Dogs can be quite disruptive. In Frank Samway's, we do have a little offset corner as well that we sometimes direct people with cats to go and sit around. Again, it's just sort of quieter, separates cats from the dogs. And again, pheromones, sorry, like Falloway. And basically what pheromones do is they help cats get along, creating harmony between cats. They send messages as well, so positive well-being messages of comfort and security. It also helps them mark their territory and, you know, identify themselves and other cats. Sort of the same reason why dogs might cock and pee on everything. It's marking their territory, it's letting other animals know that they've been there. And we can also use Falloway in litters, queens with their kittens. We can also use it to make that bond stronger and, you know, de-stress mum and have more of a connection with her kittens. So Falloway comes in a little spray bottle like this, a bit more mobile, take it anywhere with you. That's what I use. We also have our the diffusers as well. So the diffusers, you just pop them into a power point. They obviously keep emitting off this smell continuously. They work in obviously sort of X amount of square meters, so you might have to have a couple around, or you can place them in your sort of more desired areas. So say on our homes, you might have it wherever you set your cat up, or in a sort of like safe home-based area. You might also have it as well where they do their toileting as well, again, to have that positive association that I can toilet here, it's nice, it's chill, I feel good. Some additional tips, So observation is key. So spending time with your cat or your kittens, observing that behavior and understanding their preferences. Again, we all like things differently and done a certain way. It also allows us to, look at their body language and see, is this potentially stressing my cat out? If that's stressing them out, I might not do that again because I don't want to make them stressed. Or they have that reaction to this stimuli. How can I change that emotional response to that stimuli? Adjusting the environment as well based on that individual need and behaviors too. Interactive time, so engaging in bonding activities. Grooming is quite a bonding activity. Cats do it for each other and even on themselves. So we can look at, brushing them, spending 5 minutes brushing them if they do like it as well. If they don't like it, again, creating positive association. We can lessen the time that we do things with them by giving positive association with things. Quiet environments, again, always have a quiet sort of environment vibe to the home, minimizing loud noises or even any sudden disturbances as well, best that you can. Obviously, it's not always possible, but where we can, that just sort of creates, again, a more nicer home to thrive in. And that's basically it. Guys are welcome to scan the QR code. It's just a little feedback form for myself. It's all anonymous. I just appreciate feedback just so I can know if you enjoyed the presentation, if you enjoyed me, just lets me improve things. Yeah, and any questions?